Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Uh, 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 YouTube Studio content live. This happening right now, right? Yes. तीनों भी नहीं चाहिए मेरे को. Nice. Mm, uh, Sheesh. 1K views. Nice, right? Nice. Uh, let's go, guys. So today we are gonna go is this one. What is it called? Wait a sec. La 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 la. Nice. Let's see. We are gonna start. Let's see. Where the hell is that? Hmm. Web application pen testing. Web application pen testing. Injection attacks. ORM injection. ORM injection. What does that mean? Learn how to exploit injection vulnerabilities in ORM based web app. Let's see. With advance with with the advancement in cybersecurity, many developers have adapted object relational mapping (ORM) object relational mapping to mitigate SQL injection attacks. While ORM is intended to specify database iterations and improve security, the threat of injection attacks is still not over. ORM injection occurs when attacker exploit vulnerability within ORM framework, allowing them to execute arbitrary queries. We will explore advanced ORM injection technique in this room, providing an in-depth understanding of sophisticated attack vectors and effective mitigation strategies. By the end of by the end of this room, you will gain comprehensive understanding of various ORM injection methods, which will help you identify and exploit these vulnerabilities to safeguard web application. Code ORM database. Uh, Learning objectives. Throughout this room, you will gain comprehensive understanding of the following key concept: understanding of ORM, identifying injection, weak implementation, vulnerability implementation, vulnerable implementation. Prerequisites is that An understanding of following topic is recommended before starting this room. Is this the premium? Yes, it is a premium. SQL injection. I did the both. We know both of them. Let's check that. Oh, mystery caught up. Let's go. What is ORM? ORM is a programming technique that facilitates data conversation between incompatible systems using object-oriented programming language. It allows developers to interact with the database using the programming language's native syntax, making data manipulation more intuitive and reducing the need of extensive SQL queries. ORM is practically beneficial when complex data interactions are required, as it simplifies database access and promotes code reusability. Database SQL statement ORM PHP object PHP code will come back, something like that. SQL statement will go to ORM, PHP object will go to PHP code, and it will return. I do not understand. SQL statement, something like that. Let's see. Purpose. ORM serves as a bridge between the object-oriented programming model and the relational database model. The primary purpose of an ORM is to attract the database layer, allowing developers to work with the objects rather than tables and rows. This abstraction layer helps in reducing boilerplate code. ORM reduces the need for repetitive code by automatically generating SQL queries based on the object operations, increasing productivity. Developer can focus on the business logic without worrying about the database interactions, ensuring consistency. ORM framework consistently handle database operation, reducing the risk of errors, enhancing maintainability. Changes to the database schema are easier to manage as they can be reflected in the object model without extensive code modification. Commonly used ORM framework. Several ORM frameworks are widely used in the development community, each catering to different programming language and environment. Here are few examples. Doctrine PHP. Doctrine is a powerful and flexible ORM framework for PHP. It is practically popular in the Symf- Symfony Symfony framework but can be used independently. Doctrine provides comprehensive set of tools for database interaction, including a query builder, schema management, and object-oriented query language. Its ability to map complex object structure to database schemas makes it favorite among PHP developers. Hibernate. Hibernate is a robust and mature where here it is. Hibernate is a robust and mature ORM framework for JavaScript Java applications. It simplifies the mapping of Java classes to the database tables and provides powerful data retrieval and manipulation capability through its Hibernate query language (SQL). Hibernate supports various database management systems and is known for its performance optimization features such as caching and lazy loading. SQL 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 Alchemy. SQL Alchemy is a versatile and a powerful ORM for Python. It offers SQL toolkit and an ORM system that allows developers to use raw SQL when needed while still providing benefits of ORM. SQL Alchemy flexibility and modular architecture make it suitable for wide range of applications, from small script to large scale enterprise systems. Entity Framework. See, Entity Framework is Microsoft's ORM framework for net applications. It enables developers to work with the relational data using domain specific objects, eliminating the need for most data access code that developers typically need to write. Entity Framework supports a variety of database providers and integrates seamlessly with net technologies, other net technologies. Active Record, Ruby on Rails. Active Record is a default ORM for Ruby on Rails application. It follows the active record design pattern, which means that each table is database correspond to a class, and each and each row in the table correspond to an instance of that class. Active Record simplifies database interaction by providing a rich set of methods for querying and manipulating data. What is the default ORM for Ruby on Railway application? Uh, Rails Ruby on Rails application, that is Active Record. Which of the following is not a feature of ORM? Reducing boilerplate code, increasing productivity, increase attack surface due to the direct interface with the database, ensuring consistency. It might be C, let's say it. Might be wrong. Yeah, it is correct. Let's see. Now we are in how ORM works. Mm, how ORM works, let's see. Mapping between objects in the code and database tables. ORM is a technique that simplifies data interaction in an application by mapping objects in code to database tables. In PHP, this process involves defining class that represent database tables and their relationship. Each class property corresponds to the column in the table, and each class instance represents a row. For instance, using Laravel Eloquent ORM, you might define a model class like this. Uh, Class user model protected table users table. We have name, email, and passwords. In this example, the user class maps the user table in the database, which properties correspond to columns. Eloquent ORM handles the translation between these object relation representation and underlying SQL queries, allowing developers to manipulate database records using object-oriented syntax. Common ORM operation: create, read, update, delete. ORM frameworks streamline common database options, often referred as CURD operation. Number one, create or create works. Creating new record in the database involves instantiating a new model object sitting in the properties and saying it to the database. Let's see. Use app, create new user, new user. Oh, easy. We will say user as this tag, and first user is equal to new user. We will start a user. We will give name admin. We will give email. I guess all that same for others. This code, this code creates a new user and save it to the database. The save method prepares the entity for insertion and execute SQL insert statement to add the new record to the user's table. The decrypt function is used to securely hash the password before saving it. Wow, this one. Read. This one was created. This now is read. Read record from the database involves retrieving data using various eloquent methods. Now find a user ID. User find one ID. Find all users. All user all. Wow. Find user by specific criteria. Admin is equal to user where email admin get. Oh, let's see. This code demonstrates different ways to retrieve records from the database. The function find retrieves the user with the ID 1, executing select SQL statement. The function all retrieves all users by executing a select star from users SQL statement. The clause where email admin example to get retrieves user with the specified email by executing select star from users where email ID is equal to SQL statement. User all select star from users. This one. Eh? This one, not this one. Uh, Creative. Let's see. Similar to the create and read operation, the update and delete functions follows the straightforward approach using Laravel's eloquent ORM. For updates, you retrieve the existing record, modify its property, and save the changes. For deletion, you retrieve the record and call the delete method to remove it from the database. Uh, Eloquent handles the preparation and execute of the corresponding SQL statement, making database operations simple and intuitive. Comparing SQL injection and ORM injection. SQL injection and ORM injection are both techniques used to exploit vulnerabilities in the database interaction, but they target different level of stack. SQL injection target targets raw SQL queries, allowing the attackers to manipulate SQL statement directly. This is typically achieved by injecting malicious input into query string. The injection part in the following query or 1 is equal to 1 always evaluate to true, allowing the attackers to bypass authentication. Select star from user where username is equal to admin or 1 is equal to 1. ORM injection targets ORM injection targets the ORM framework, exploiting how it constructs queries from object orientation operations. Attackers manipulate ORM's method to properties to influence the resulting SQL query. User repository find by find by username is equal to admin or 1 is equal to 1. In the above code, the injection part admin or 1 is equal to 1 always evaluates to true. Key difference in exploitation technique. Aspects. Level of injection. Targets raw SQL queries. Targets ORM frameworks query construction. Complexity. More straightforward it manipulates raw SQL. Requires understanding of ORM internals and methods. Detection. Easier to detect with the traditional WAF and query logs. Harder to detect as payload or within ORM methods. Mitigation. Use of prepared statement, parameterized query input validation, proper ORM configuration, Application application level input validation. Where are features enforcing very safely? Configuration. Configuring an environment. Since we are using Laravel in the project, we will briefly explain how to configure Eloquent ORM Laravel based. The Eloquent ORM is the default ORM included with Laravel, which provides a beautiful, simple, active record implementation of working with your database. First, we need to install Laravel using Composer. When your terminal run the command Composer create project. Preferred is Laravel THM project, where THM project is the name of your project. You don't have to practice these steps in this room. This is just help you understand how ORM facilitates. Configure database credential. Next, we need to configure our database credential. Laravel uses .env file to store environment variables, including database credentials. Open the env file in the root of your Laravel project and update the following lines with your database details. Eh, I do not understand this. Next, we need to configure our database credential. Laravel uses environment file to store environment variables, including database credentials. Open the environment file in the root of your Laravel project and update the following lines with your database details. Setting up mig- migrations. Migrations. Migrations are like versions control of for your database, allowing you to easily modify and share the database schema. Laravel's Laravel's migration system is essential part of the framework and simplifies the management of the database changes. Create a migration. To create migration, we can use Artisan command line tool that comes with Laravel. You can run the command php artisan make migration create user table create user to generate the migration for user. To create migration, we need to use artisan. Let's see. PHP artisan make migration. Create user table. Create users. This command generates a migration file in the database, the migration directory. The migration file contains the method to define the structure of user table. As you can see here. In the above code, up, where was that? Here, this one. Public function up. Up method defines the structure of users table. It includes column for ID, name, email, password, and timestamp. Conventionally and down. That conversely, the down method drops the user table if the migration is rolled back. After defining the migration, run the command php artisan migrate to apply the migration and create a users table in the database. This command will execute the up method in the migration file and create the users table with the specified columns in your database. In the context of ORM, Migrations simplify the process of mapping the database tables to application models. They enable developer to focus on writing clean, maintainable code while ensuring that the underlying database schema supports the application's data requirements. However, from a red team's perspective, improperly configured migration and weak implementation can lead to vulnerabilities like ORM injection. Hacker, Hackers often exploit this weakness to manipulate database queries and gain unauthorized access to sensitive data. Therefore, it is crucial to use migration effectively to enforce strong, secure database schema, database schema designs, and ensure robust ORM configuration to prevent such security flaws. What is the method used in our Laravel code snippet to define the structure of user table that was up? What is the file name usually used to store database credentials in database? What is the file name usually used to store the database credential? File. Uh, what would be the file? Is that it? Environment spelling is wrong. Sorry about that. Here restart the machine. Let's. Oh, wait a sec. Oh, it's a lab, right? We don't need to install anything, right? I guess so. Let's do it. Start the machine. Oh, the error occur. Oh, it is running. Sorry about that. But why? It's great. Yes. That is it. That will. Wait a second. We will read some first. Identifying ORM injection vulnerability involves examining how user inputs are handled within ORM queries. These vulnerabilities typically arise when user inputs are directly embedded into ORM query methods without proper sanitization or validation. Indicators of potential ORM injection issues include the use of dynamic queries that concatenate user inputs over query execution method and insufficient use of parameterized queries. Pause. I will come back soon. Hello, 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 hello. I was off for 7 minutes, something like that. It is kind of fine. Mm, so as we are going, uh, connecting to machine. Let's see. Uh, you know, guys, how to do this. Copy this, Control C, and go to your. Oh, wait a sec. I didn't use VPN at. I need to close this. You can configure here too, but terminal is a good. Let's see. Paste. We won't run it. Let's see. Uh, uh, let's see. Oh, sorry about that. Uh, we got something like this page. Right. Let's see. Uh, Techniques for testing ORM injection. Manual code review. A thorough source code inspection can reveal raw query methods such as var raw in Laravel that incorporate user inputs directly. Look for contented, concatenated, concatenated strings or unescaped inputs in ORM methods, which can indicate injection points. Automated scanning. Use security scanning tools that are designed for detect ORM injection vulnerability. These tools analyze code base to identify patterns that could lead to injection, such as dynamic query construction or improper input handling. Input validation testing. Perform manual testing by injecting payload into application input to see if they affect the underlying ORM query. For example, injecting SQL control characters or keywords to determine if they alter the execution of the query. Error-based testing. Enter deliberately incorrect or malformed data to trigger error. Detailed error message can provide insight into the structure of underlying queries and indicate potential vulnerabilities. Frameworks and ORM injection testing. Framework, ORM library, common vulnerable method. Level, var raw, db raw, Ruby on Rails, active record, var name input, Django, Spring Hibernate, concatenate Node.js, Sequelize query. The table above highlights various web development frameworks and their associated ORM libraries detailing common methods that are prone to vulnerabilities. For example, in Reveal, using var raw or db raw with user inputs can lead to ORM operation, but this can be prevented by using the parameterized query with the var method. Similarly, in Django method like extra and raw can introduce vulnerabilities if not handled correctly. While using the filter method with the parameterizer queries ensures safer database interaction. Understanding these common pitfalls and adopting secure coding practices is crucial for maintaining the security of web application. Exploring the target application. Now that we know how to identify ORM injection vulnerabilities, let's visit the sites at that was the same, right? Uh, Maybe not. Let's copy these two. See, uh, is it the same? Both the same. Whatever. Here you will see that the site prompts for the input to determine which framework is being used. We can employ various techniques such as inspecting cookies, viewing the source code, and analyzing HTTP headers. Technique to identify the framework, verifying cookies. Examine the cookies set by the application. Framework often use unique naming convention or format for their season session cookies, which can provide clues about underlying technology. Let's see. Uh, let's see if there is any cookie that is left. Da, the hell is that? First time. Uh, Here it is. Laravel session. You may not be able to see this. What the hell? Let me find again. See this one. This Here it is. Laravel session something. Let's see. We found it one way and there was multiple more. Reviewing source code. Look through HTML code for comments, meta tags, or any embedded script that might reveal framework specific signature. However, this method may only sometimes be conclusive. Oh, that like, let's see. Uh, huh? Here it is. That is Capra. Let's see. Mm, Analyzing HTTP headers. HTTP header can sometimes contains information about server and framework. Tools like PubSuite or browser developer tools can be used to inspect these headers. URL structure. The structure of the URL can give hints about the framework. For instance, certain routing protocols or unique specific framework. Login and error messages. Authentication page or error message can sometimes reveal the framework. Some frameworks have distinctive error pages to log in from structures. Now that we have identified that the application uses Laravel by inspecting the cookies, we can dig deeper by supplying malicious input to further explore its behavior. Specifically, we will input 1 to see how the application handles this data and confirm ORM use. When we visit the site, we are prompted to provide input. We enter into email input field and submit the form to determine how the application processes input. Practically, input is des- designed to disrupt the query structure and reveal any underlying issues with the with our application structure. What are these? I do not understand this. Let's see. Uh, SQL syntax error or access violation. Syntax error. I do not understand what syntax error or access violation. You have an error in your SQL syntax. Check the manual that corresponds to MySQL. Eliminate query field. What the hell is that? Eliminate database query builder get. Eliminate database. Just what? What is wrong with that? I do not see anything. Let's see. There is explanation. Upon submitting this input, we need to closely observe the application's response. If the application returns an error, this can provide valuable insights into the query construction process. For instance, an error message such as SQL state 42000 syntax error or access violation indicates that the input has been improperly handled and contained into SQL query, resulting in SQL error. The syntax and the output shows that it uses Laravel, eloquent operand, and error message and query patterns are characteristics of eloquence query builder. It is a Laravel framework. For red teamers, identifying ORM injection vulnerabilities is critical for accessing the application security posture. ORM injection can be exploited if the user's inputs are not properly sanitized for validation, leading to unauthorized access or manipulation of database queries. Red teamers can uncover this vulnerability by employing techniques such as manual code review, automated scanning, or rigorous input validation testing. Using secure coding practices like parameterized query and robust input validation is essential to mitigate the risk associated with ORM injection. Regular code reviews and the use of security tools can help developers identify and fix these issues. What is the path in the document root variable? The list is. Let's see if this is the one. Document what is there, but I don't know. It is the one. What is the ORM library for Spring Framework? The one mentioned in this task. This is Illuminate. That is wrong. There was more spelling, right? Illuminate. That is wrong. Wait a sec. Let's understand the question. What is the ORM library for the Spring Framework? The one. Uh, is it the Larables? I don't understand why. Just let's try it. La ra oh, what is the what's something see? Let's see if it knows. Paste. Let's see. The Spring frameworks provide its own ORM called Spring ORM, which such as it is Hibernate, right? Hibernate. Yeah, we read it about. Let's read Hibernate, Java, MyBits, Eclipse Link, and it is found in Spring Home. Let's see, it is found in Spring. Uh, I cannot see it. Uh, Spring. Spring. There is no spring. Nice, nice. Let's forget it. Hmm. Once you have received the cookies to identify the ORM, what is the cookie's name? Cookie's name that is responsible for maintaining the session in the attached application. That was something big, right? What was the question again? Once you received the cookies to identify the ORM, what is the cookies? Let's see, inspect, storage. It was in there. Here they given that itself. Let's see, that was Laravel session. Copy. It was hard, alright. I still didn't understand how to find that. Let's chunk some YouTube videos. Control C. Let's go to YouTube. Why it is so damn dingy. Control V. Track. Why? What the hell is that? This first video, let's try it.
Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back. Today I'm doing a video for you application around the database. Several ORM frameworks are widely used in the development community, blah blah blah. So here you go. You got Doctrine for PHP, you got Hibernate for Java, and you'll see there's a bunch of them. SQL Alchemy for Python. In this case, they used admin, so it doesn't execute the up method and the right. And then error-based testing. This has been around forever with SQL as well. This is purpose. Some smart developer changed it so that that's what you think. Anyway, if you don't know SQL injection, works by the developer, and then we'll actually look that's vulnerable. So that's really easy for us, right? Now, here we're going to talk about Wayne that is responsible for maintaining the library for the Spring framework. Well, they tell you already, but if you go back up, it says right here, Spring framework. The ORM library is Hibernate.
Oh,
now,
sorry about that. That you can do it in AI. All right. No offense is that you can do AI should complete that. Now, what was the time it was? It was around 47. I need that. Let's see. In this task, we will explore how an attacker can exploit ORM vulnerability when ORM is weakly implemented. To start, revisit the website at where we have two input field that accepts email input. Let's take a closer look at the source code by the developers. To let's take a closer look at the source code used by the developers for email vulnerable input field. Public function search bin vulnerable email request email user admin var raw email get. What function does? The search blind vulnerable function is designed to retrieve user records based on the email parameter provided by the user. Here is a detailed breakdown of the function. Retrieve input. The function captures the email parameter from the HTTP request. This is done using the input method request object. It is constant query. The function then constructs a raw SQL query using Laravel var raw method, which directly incorporates the email value into the SQL statement. Execute query. This query is executed storing the result in the user's variable. Return view. Finally, the function returns a view user. User array is not empty. It passes the user data to view. Otherwise, it passes user not found. Uh, let's see. The critical issue is in this function lies in the direct use of var. With user input, this method of query construction is vulnerable to injection attacks because it does not sustain the input. An attacker can exploit this vulnerability by manipulating the email parameter. If an attacker inputs 1 or 1 resulting in SQL query becomes select star from, user where email is equal to 1 or 1 is equal to 1. This query will always return the user record because the condition 1 is equal to 1 is prematurely too detailed exploitation. Input malicious value. The attacker visits the input field of the website and enters a crafted input such as for 1 or 1 is for, for a construction. The suspect vulnerable function receives this input and construct the following query using var user var email is equal to 1 or 1 is equal to 1 get. This raw query construction directly inserts the malicious input into SQL query. Query execution. Laravel 11 ORM translates this into SQL statement. Result since 1 is equal to 1 is always true. The query returns all the records in the user's table. The attackers now have access to potentially sensitive information about all users in the database as shown below. Uh, let's try that. La 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 la. One or sorry, yes, one is equal to one. That's right. Yeah, we got that. Juan. Uh, Implementing secure ORM queries. Let's look at the secure version of query function to demonstrate how secure implementation can protect against ORM injection vulnerabilities by using parameterized queries. We can ensure that the user inputs are properly sanitized, significantly reducing the risk of injection attack. Here is a secure implementation of the function Viva email secure input field. Uh, Here's a breakdown. Breakdown of secure implementation. Retrieving input. The function captures the email parameter from HTTP request using the method request object, the same as the vulnerable version. Constructing the query surely, securely. Instead of using var raw, the secure version uses equivalence var method. This method automatically escapes the input, thus preventing SQL injection. The var method construct a parameterized query behind the scene, ensuring that the user input is not directly included in the SQL statement. Executing the query. The query is executed and the result is stored in users variable because the query is parameterized, the input is sanitized, which means it cannot break the SQL query structure, returning the view. Finally, the function returns to view. If the user array contains data, it passes the user data to the view. Otherwise, it shows an error message. This logic ensures that only valid data is processed and displayed. Now, try using the same malicious payload. 1 or 1 is equal to 1 with the secure implementation. Uh, let's see. It's the same one. Enter the payload in secure. Or sorry about that. I need to add it here. I can just copy, right? Sorry about that. Control C. Uh, Search. Huh? You are not. What the hell? The input field. You will notice that the application does not break or return all user data. Instead, it behaves as expected, either finding no user with that email or returning the updated user. Why this is secure? Parameterized query. Parameterized query ensures that the input values are treated as data only, not executable code. This prevents any injection SQL from being executed. Automatic escaping. Elo- Eloquent automatically escapes the input value, negating any special character that could be used for SQL injection. Consistent query logic. By using eloquent methods like where, the query logic remains consistent and clear, making it easier for maintain and audit for security. The use of where in the function such being vulnerable demonstrate a weak implementation of ORM, making the application highly uh, susceptible. What is that word? Sus, sus, susceptible to injection attacks. By understanding how user inputs are directly incorporated into SQL query, attackers can craft input to manipulate the query logic. This highlights the importance of using parameterized queries and proper input validation to secure web application against such exploits. Uh, what is the name of the vulnerable equivalent method that is used? It is where law. HERE for law. That vulnerability come from where law. Let's see. Uh, we got this copy. It is here paste and email associated to John Day John. John Day John. कौन बनेगा John? John बनेगा Don. Yeah, it is Janet. Sorry about that. I thought it's John. Just needed to put that. What the hell? Now, how much tasks are there? There is only three left. Let's see. While secure coding practice are essential, it is also important to recognize how a developer might inadvertently implement a vulnerable version of an ORM, creating avenues for exploitation. Vulnerable implementation can occur when developers use outdated or misconfigured ORM libraries that contains inherent security flaws. These flaws can be exploited by attackers to manipulate database queries and gain unauthorized access or control, such as vulnerabilities may stem from issues like improper handling of query parameter or inadequate protection against injection attacks within ORM framework itself. Developer must ensure they are using up-to-date and secure version of ORM libraries to avoid introducing exploitable exploitable vulnerabilities into their application. Practice example. One such example is Level Query Builder, which had a significant security vulnerability in version prior to 117.1. This vulnerability allowed SQL injection through unserialized query parameter. The vulnerability was identified in how the package handles sorting parameter directly from user input without proper validation. We have used Spatty Query Builder. This is example which also uses Laravel Query Builder internally to make queries. To demonstrate this vulnerability, you can access final control V and let's go. We got this hell is something like that. The endpoint allows getting the top user sorted by name column view sort parameter. Laravel equivalent translation of the query is select star from user where user x limit to injection attempt. If we try injecting parameter with the name, we will see that the app returns an error that it couldn't find a column name. Our objective here is to manipulate the query to retrieve complete data from users table instead of being restricted to limited number of rows. However, injecting the sort parameter in this context is straightforward by merely concatenating it with the select query and using routine injection method. The challenge lies in effectively breaking out of order by clause to manipulate the query execution. To achieve this, we can utilize special function, the operator which serves as Alice for chosen extract function in MySQL. The operator allows us to navigate JSON data and extract specific value using the arrow operator in the conjunction with the person 27 payload. We can break out of order clause by this is a payload. Payload effectively terminates the JSON extraction by passing the limits imposed by the initial query and allows us to append additional SQL command. Let's see. Final payload. We will prepare the final payload like this. Initial query. The initial query that Laravel translates sorting users name by select star from users order by name ask limit to breaking the query by injecting name this payload we can cause the query to break and thus create an opportunity to insert our own SQL. Crafting the payload. To exploit the vulnerability, we craft the payload to break out of the string and inject our object SQL. The payload could be something like SQL injection query. Within the parameter value, the name arrow is placed by Laravel and placed with the chosen MySQL function. On the other hand, the 27 closes the previous string and condition. SQL injection query allows an attacker to write his own query. The character hash comments out the rest of the query to prevent syntax error. Final result. We did not need to do it. All they did themselves. The payload for getting additional rows of database would look like. Uh, yeah, while the query generated by the Laravel to MySQL would be select star from user, order by JSON unquoted JSON extra name, including the injected payload. The above query would bypass the limit capability to fetch 10 rows of table. The above example highlights the critical importance of input validation and sanitization to prevent ORM injection vulnerability. By understanding how seemingly harmless query parameter can be exploited, developers can better appreciate the need of secure coding practice. Using ORM features without proper grasp of their implementation can inadvertently expose application to serious security risk. Just the total number of rows. It is six, right? One, two, three, four, five, six. Six is wrong, then it is five. Sorry about that. Like rows one, two, one, two, three, four. I don't know how it is. Uh, DHM 101. D DHM 101. Best practices. Now that we understand the threat surface of ORM injection, preventing these vulnerabilities requires implementing reverse security measures and continuously monitoring potential weakness. The following section outlines the best practices for securing user input and leveraging automation techniques to effectively identify mitigation vulnerabilities. A few important practices. Input validation always validate user inputs on both client and server side. Ensure that the user shows that the data conforms conform to the expected format, type, and length. Use regularly expression and built-in validation function to enforce strong input validation rules. Parameterized query. Use the parameterized queries prepare statement to interact with the database. This approach ensures that user inputs are treated as data, not executable code. Avoid concatenating users' input directly into SQL queries. ORM stage. Utilize ORM built-in tools to interact with the database. ORM abstract SQL query and help prevent SQL injection by handling user inputs securely. Ensure that the ORM is configured correctly and that any custom SQL queries are parameterized. Escaping. Escaping and sanitizing. Escape our input to remove any special character used for injection attacks. Sanitize input to remove potentially harmful data before processing or storing it. Allow English. Implement an allow list approach to input validation. Only allow specific ex- expected values and reject everything else. This method is more secure than blocking known bad value which can be incomplete. Application in popular framework. We will explore essential practice for safeguarding against ORM injection in widely used ORM framework. ORM tools like Doctrine, PHP, SQL Alchemy, Python, Hibernate, Java, and Entity Framework provides powerful abstraction of database interaction. However, to prevent SQL injection vulnerabilities, it is crucial to employ secure coding practice such as parameterized queries, named parameters, and ORM specific technique. Let's delve into the best practices with the practical example of each framework. Doctoring. Use prepared statement with the parameterized query to prevent SQL injection attack. Alchemy Python. Leverage Python SQL Alchemy ORM and Query API to use parameterized query which automatically handles escaping the parameter bidding. Hibernate. Use named parameterized which Hibernate Query API to ensure inputs are adequately bound and escape. Entity framework. Employ parameterized queries in entity framework to ensure database interactions and mitigate the risk of SQL injection vulnerabilities for users. You can see, right? I don't understand the code. Is it good practice to write raw SQL queries in ORM? Nah. Which said should input validation be carried out? Write out the correct option. Client servers should be none, right? What is the no? Then might be P. Sorry, guys. Sorry, I wrote this wrong. Then this. Then this. Let's see. Throughout our exploration ORM injection, we began by establishing a solid understanding of what ORM entitles and its fundamentals. Fundamentals rules in modern web development. We explored its workings, understanding of ORM abstract database interaction into object-oriented paradigms, enhancing developers' productivity and code maintainability. Moving forward, we shifted focus to perspective of a pentester learning how to identify potential injection vulnerabilities, especially within Laravel, a widely used PHP framework. With this foundational knowledge, we examined the exploration of poorly implemented ORM system. We uncover how vulnerabilities in the ORM configuration can lead to injection attack, allowing malicious actors to manipulate database queries and potentially gain unauthorized access to sensitive information. To conclude, we highlight essential security practices within popular framework. These practices include rigorous input validation, proper use of parameterized queries, and required statement to mitigate injection risk, and leveraging ORM framework with built-in security feature. By adapting these practices, developer can safeguard their application against ORM injection vulnerabilities, ensuring well protected and secure application. Yo, it has 100. Nice. That was very good. And now we have a challenge. Injectees. Dun, dun. Let's see, guys. Let's see, let's see, let's see. Uh, maybe I should try it. Uh, hmm, I got the IP. Let's see. Sorry, guys. That was good. Uh, mhm. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, I need. What is? Let's see. Events. We need something that can inject it. No. Events. Athletics. No. Medals. Contact. Login. Only working is this one. Uh, one. Uh, let's see, let's see, let's see, let's see. Now we will copy this. Dash. Sorry about that. Control C. And we will go to S SQL map. A help page is there. I need to know with a get request or something like that. Uh, Submit. Uh, what is that? Uh, let's see. It is a post request, not a get request. Let's see. Uh, we will carve some SQL map. Sim SQL map for post login. Uh, yes, this is some code we got. Let's try that. We need to change username. There is no username, right? What was that? Email password. Email admin.com admin ad at admin at admin.com password, and our target will be let's see, copied, right? No, it is not in that. Let's see, we will copy again. Control C. uh, yeah, no. Yeah, nice. Now we will run that, see if it works. uh, let's give it complete information. uh, If we go in there, warning, first parameter email does not seem to be injectable. That shows up. So both are not injectable. How is that possible? All tested parameters do not appear to be injectable. Try to increase the value. I think that much level is possible, right? Inject is sac control C. Uh,
Hey everyone, hope you're doing well. This is Matt. Subscribe, PDIP. If you see here, it is a leaderboard and it states the rank and country, gold, silver, and just visit this link here. You will find an email and password. So, and also if you read it carefully, what it says is to add an extra layer of safety, I have configured this service to automatically insert default credentials into the users table if it is ever deleted or becomes corrupted. So that means if the user tables or database has been corrupted or deleted accidentally, this credentials will be loaded as a default credentials so that you can log in using this. So we need to find a way to delete this user table. So let's see. Um, we will duplicate this and visit the website. So now click login. After login page, view page source. And if you go below, you will have a script.js. If you click that, you can clearly see or and union select. This all those keywords are getting blocked or blacklisted by the this JS script. So from here, I thought, why can't we bypass this using an SQL injection? So if you see or and union select are getting blocked, let's try. We'll turn on the burp proxy. So just typing AA and intercept on, submit the request. If you see here, we can add or 1 equal to 1, and then yeah, we'll send this to repeater. And if you send this status error message invalid email or password, so that means this or is getting blocked or blacklisted, so we can't use this. Instead, what we can use is we can use this as an or substitute. So now we'll send this. If you see, the status is success and your login has been successful. So let's try this. We'll just copy this payload and go to this thing and paste it over here and forward. Now intercept off. There is some delay in loading, so we have successfully logged in. So now it says welcome dev and we have logout option, and this is the page home. If you see here, there is USA, China, Japan, Korea, Spain, and UN. So we have an edit option to edit those medals. If you click edit, sorry, I have turned on burp. Okay, turn off that. That is gold, silver, bronze. Just changing this to 23 and updated, and gold has been updated. So what we can do, we can try to do an SQL injection to delete the table. Let's see. We'll just turn on the burp and update this, like drop table users and this. Now forward, turn off. Okay, it worked. It shows like seems like database or some important table is deleted. Injective service is running to restore it. So please wait for 1 to 2 minutes. Let's wait. After 1 to 2 minutes, I just wanted to go again to the website. And if you see login here, click that and try to log out. And if you see here, there is super admin credentials. So just copy that and go to the website, click login. We had two functions already. I forgot to show that. We have normal login and login as admin. If you click that, paste the email over here and the password, paste and submit. Now we have the flag one, and also it shows welcome admin, and we have now two functions, which is home and profile. Earlier we had only logout, so now we have like home and profile. We'll try to click profile, and there is a first name admin. If you see here clearly, the admin is getting reflected. Let's see. We'll change to test and submit. If you go to dashboard, you will see test. Okay, if something is getting reflected on the web page, always try to do a client-side injections. Now, to get a shell access in this web application, SSTI is present. So we'll try that. So if you put like 2 into 2 and close this with curly braces and now submit. If you go back to dashboard, you will see 4. So 2 into 2 is 4. So it is getting multiplied. So that means here there is an SSTI, server side template injection vulnerability is present. So now what we can do is we need to get an ID. So I'll try to put ID, submit. We are not getting anything. I'm just gonna duplicate this. What we can do is we'll type if you see it's in PHP, so I just wanted to search for PHP SSTI payloads. There is Hackbricks and this one on GitHub. So here, if you go below, you will find a PHP payloads. And I think for this is similar payload which I have given and it worked. So I'll go with Twig. And if you see there is an ID sort system to get the information. So just go here and paste it here and submit and go and refresh here. So what happens here is system has been disabled for security reasons. So you can't use the system thing. But we need to find some other function to use it here and get execute this payload.
Is
What we
that
can do, I have
servant?
found this in GitHub. I think I have opened the wrong one. Let's see this one. Yeah, payload all things. We go below, you will find PHP wig like that, and you see here there is another thing called pass through. So already sort is working fine. So we just wanted to find another function to execute. So pass through. I have found the pass through here and just try to paste it here. So ID and don't want system, I just want pass through. Okay, now submit. Now refresh this page. Now you can see successfully we got the ID informations. So now from here, we need to get a shell access to get the another flag and complete this mission. To do that, what we have to do is we have to first create an index.html with the Python payload. For that, we'll just create mousepad index.html and open here, which is hack tools, which is very useful for CTFs or pen test. So please download and check it out. So now go to shells, go below, you will find an Python shell. Just copy that reverse shell and go here, go to the file which you opened, save it here, and we want to change the port to 443 and save. Okay, we have saved successfully. Now what we have to do is we need to start the Python server. Python 3 m http server and port 80, enter. Then we need to start a netcat listener, which is netcat lvnp and 443, enter. Okay, now let's go to profile, and what we have to do is we have to put this curl and put this, and we have to use this command like curl and the system IP and bash. So why we have given two arguments is because sort requires two arguments, so we have given one argument and one empty argument. So that's the reason we have given two arguments. So after executing this will pass through and execute on this function. So let's see. Now we'll submit this. If you go to dashboard and refresh, if you go here, you see one hit is happening, and if you go here, nothing has happened. I think we have made some mistake on the shell. Actually, in hack tools, it will be on Python. So we need to change to Python 3 because some server is doesn't have Python. They use Python 3. So we need to change this to Python 3. Save this and close it, and then start it again the netcat listener and enter. Now we have already running the server, so just go to this and again start this thing, this command, and submit. If you go to here on the dashboard and refresh this, you will see an hit 2, and if you go to the netcat listener, you will have a shell. If you ls this, you will have an folder called flags, cd flags, and ls, you will have a final flag here. So this is the final flag. So this is the easy way to hack this room. If you like this video, please.
My God. Uh, Let me feed it. Now let's see. What a sec. We'll add this. Let's see. It is fast. Mm, That's it for now. Uh, let us let's see. One photo. Getting invalid. These are the blocked ones. Let's see the paradigm. Uh, SQL, right? Relative, smart. I'm using so Uh, where the hell is that, man? That's writing me injection. How to bypass this blocked ones? Mm, mm, s- Sorry, guys. When the lab deliberately blocks Office SQL injection keyword like or union select, it's teaching you about filter invasion. Filter invasion. That word is very important. Yes. Yes. Let's see. We will do in this. Hmm, let's go to CyberChef. Cyber, CyberChef. Let's see. We will do that encoding chef. Um, uh, URL, URL code. This is not needed. We will do like one. The OR was blocked, right? So we will use this one. Uh, one is equal to one. We will put one here. Let's see. We will copy this, copy, and let's try this. Now if it work. What happened? Why it is not responding? It's still on. That is a copy. That is that we will do it in that. Let's go to Bob. Next, start the Bob. Uh, we'll go to Bob, then Bob, yes, Bob. Quick. Oh, it's loading too damn much. Let's see. Uh, Reception on. Submit. Invalid keyword. Submit. Yeah, we have it. Let's try. Let's try that. Send to repeater. Something is getting blocked. Wait a sec. Oh yeah, we do not need this. Let's see. We don't need this. Let's try that. Let's try that. Uh, where the hell is that? Ah, here it is. We will go and paste it in the front. We do not need anything. Let's try that. Cannot get past to this. Um, is this gonna work? So, give me a possible method for for one. Wait a sec. Where it is? There is Control C. Uh, it is block AD. Let's see. That's right. Where is this? Uh, it asks for E and let's see. We can just change it, but we will use this. Yeah, we got that. Let's paste that. What the hell is that pasting? Let's see. That's format we will use. But we need to change the login address. Something was missing. Let's see what I missed. Uh, let's see. We will. Sundays. Uh, Stay.
Hey everyone, hope you're doing well. This is Matsek. So I have created an injectis folder on TryHackme. I just wanted to start with an nmap scan. Nmap is C for default scripts, SV to enumerate version, T4 to speed up the scans, and copy the IP and paste it over here. ON to save the output as normal, and we're gonna save this file as initial. Enter. After a few minutes, nmap scan has been completed. If you see here, port 22 SSH is open and port 80 HTTP is open. Let us go and copy this IP and visit this website. And we'll check what is there in it. So if you see here, it is in leaderboard. Medals you click here. So if you go below, there is an command which says mail log file. So mails are stored in mail log file. So if you click that, copy this and just visit this thing here, you will find an email and password. So safety uses if this credentials will be a way to delete this user table. So just click login. After script.js, if you click that, you can click keywords are getting. So from here, I thought, why can't we and union select are getting blocked? Let's try. We'll turn on the burp proxy. So just typing AA and intercept on, submit the request. If you see here, we can add or 1 equal to 1, and then yeah, we'll send this to repeater. And if you send this, status error message invalid email or password. So that means this or is getting blocked or blacklisted, so we can't use this. Instead, what we can use is we can use this as an or substitute. So now we'll send this. If you see, the status is success and your login has been successful. So let's try this. We'll just copy this payload and go to this thing and paste it over here and forward. Now intercept off.
Finally,
Of there is some delay in loading, so we have log out option. Here there is option to edit those medals. If you click edit, sorry, I have turned on burp. Okay, turn off that. That is gold, silver, bronze. Just changing this to 23 and updated, and gold has been updated. So what we can do, we can try to um, do an SQL injection to delete the table. Let's see. We'll just turn on the burp and update this, like drop table users and this. Now forward, turn off. Okay, it worked. It shows like seems like database or some important table is deleted. Injective service is running to restore it. So please wait for 1 to 2 minutes. Let's wait. After 1 to 2 minutes, I just wanted to go again to the website. And if you see login here, click that and try to log out. And if you see here, there is super admin credentials. So just copy that and go to the website. Click login. We had two functions already. I forgot to show that. We have normal login and login as admin. If you click that, paste the email over here and the password. Paste and submit. Now we have the flag one and also
Got some good understanding from that. We'll try it tomorrow, guys.
So it shows welcome. Earlier we had only login, is getting summit test. Okay, if you go to getting reflected on the web page, always try to do a client-side injections. Now to get a shell access in this web application, SSTI is present. So we'll try that. So if you put two into that, what we can think I'm just there is
We'll do it properly next time. I don't know.